Ah, Christmas, easily my favorite time of the year. The weather, the music, the decorations, the food, the Wii U. I always just kind of associate the Wii U with Christmas time for some reason. I didn't even get my Wii U for Christmas. I think it's just because I kind of associate consoles in general with Christmas time. I mean, that's the time when there's the most commercials for them, all the biggest games release around this time of the year, and a console is easily one of, if not the biggest thing you can get. There's no greater feeling than waking up on Christmas morning and unwrapping a brand new video game console, and hopefully a game or two to go with it. Anyway, back to the Wii U. I decided to make my Christmas special this year about every physical Mario game on the Wii U that I could get my hands on. I came up with the name of this video before anything else. So this video will consist of short reviews of most of the physical Mario games released on the Wii U. I would have done some of the digital ones, but you can't really buy them anymore. The only ones I won't be talking about are the ones that don't have Mario in the title, with a few exceptions. So no Yoshi's Woolly World, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, Game & Wario, etc. That's honestly kind of because I just don't have those, and I don't really want to spend $100 on Game & Wario. To hopefully make up for that, at least kind of, I will be talking about the Mario minigames in Nintendo Land, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and the Mario Mashup Pack for Minecraft Wii U Edition. And unfortunately, I won't be including either of the Mario and Sonic games. You can blame Rio 2016 for being stupidly expensive, and you can't really have one without the other. So basically, I'm just too broke. And even if I wasn't, I don't think I could justify spending that much money on a game I knew I wouldn't like. That's why I've got 2 copies of Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. And I'll explain why when we get to that point. So let's start with the 2 Wii U launch titles that will be featured in this video: New Super Mario Bros. U and Nintendo Land. I'll start with New Super Mario Bros. Because that's actually a Mario game. Starting off a console with a brand new Mario game sounds like a great idea. It's an incredibly smart way to get people to care about your new thing. However, Nintendo made the unfortunate decision to launch the Wii U with a new Super Mario Bros. Game, not a brand new 3D Mario. It wouldn't have been as big of a deal if they hadn't already released a new Super Mario Bros. Game that year. I will always call 2012 the double New Super Mario Bros. Year. That just rolls right off the tongue. A lot of people remember 2012 because people thought that was when the world was supposed to end. They weren't wrong. There's nothing objectively wrong with it, it's just an incredibly disappointing way to start off a new console. The levels are well designed, it looks fine enough, although it's kind of lame for a first HD Mario game, and most importantly, it's fun. With most Nintendo launch titles, they like to demonstrate the gimmick of the console. This one doesn't really do that. I mean, sure, Boost Mode exists, which lets a 5th player use the gamepad to place blocks. Okay, so the game is your standard 2D Mario. Bowser kidnaps Peach and you have to go rescue her. In order to do that, you have to travel through 8 different worlds. The only real change to the formula is that instead of Bowser taking Peach to his castle, he just takes over her castle. But once he's done that, it just looks like your generic Bowser's castle pretty much. And that's a nice segue into the level themes. They're exactly what you'd expect. Grass, desert, water, snow, forest, mountain, and sky. Each world outside of the first and last one has a food-related name, like Layer Cake Desert, Sparkling Water, and Meringue Clouds. But what's weird is that they don't play into that at all. It's just a name. They're just the exact same generic levels like in New Super Mario Bros. 2, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, or New Super Mario Bros. Although to be completely fair, Super Mario World is kind of guilty of that too. The first level that comes to mind when I'm thinking about this is Butter Bridge. It's a bridge. No butter in sight. And Soda Jungle has the most unique level in the entire New Super series. Everything looks like a painting. It's really cool, but it's just one level. I don't know why they didn't design the whole game like this. I mean, seriously, if the whole game went for this aesthetic, I think it would be way more fondly remembered. And if they changed the name. So, New Super Mario Bros. U is definitely a fun game, but it's not very memorable. I just played it like 5 minutes ago and I already forgot what this thing was. And that's not all for this game actually, it got a full expansion less than a year later. New Super Luigi U. It's basically the same game but with new, harder levels. Oh, and you can't play as Mario for some reason. I don't know if he's dead, on vacation, or in prison. I genuinely have no idea where he's at. This was released as part of the Year of Luigi back in 2013, and it's pretty good too, I guess. It looks identical to New Super Mario Bros. U, which is to be expected since it is just an expansion to that game. Or its own game, I don't really know what to classify this as. So it's kind of hard to just classify this as DLC when it got its own physical release and has enough content to fill an entire game, but it's also hard to call it its own thing because it's entirely built off a new Super Mario Bros. U. So what is this thing? Oh, Nintendo Land, such an underappreciated game. This was basically the Wii U's equivalent to Wii Sports, a minigame collection that showed off what the thing can do. There are 4 Mario-adjacent minigames in this game: Mario Chase, Luigi's Ghost Mansion, Donkey Kong's Crash Course, and Yoshi's Fruit Cart. So yes, even though I am not including Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze or Yoshi's Woolly World, I will be talking about the Donkey Kong and Yoshi Nintendo Land minigames. And if that bothers you, well, I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. Please, I'm begging. I hate when you're mad at me. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Please, I'm genuinely so sorry. I'll never not include Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and Yoshi's Woolly World in a Mario Wii U game video. Please, it'll never happen again. I'm sorry. Mario Chase is great. You can play with up to 5 players. One player is their me dressed as Mario, while the others are differently colored toads. The toads have to chase Mario and catch him before the time runs up. It's a pretty basic game of tag. Whoever's playing as Mario uses the gamepad while the others use the TV. My main issue with this minigame is the lack of arenas. There's 3 total, and while they do have different gimmicks, they all look nearly identical. The first one is pretty basic, the second one has a lot of mud, and the third one has some slides. I feel like the least they could have done is change the skybox to be sunset or night or something like that. It's still a pretty fun minigame though, and it is actually a good use of the Wii U gamepad. Allowing one player to see something that no other player can is a really interesting gimmick. And the next game kinda does that too. People always say Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is the first Luigi's Mansion game since the one on the GameCube, but real ones know that this game predates it by at least 6 months. This game is actually kind of similar to Mario Chase, except this time the gamepad user can fight back. Everybody run! Whoever's using the gamepad is a ghost and they have to get all of the other players. However, the Wii Remote users aren't helpless, surprisingly. They just have to shine their flashlight on the ghost until the ghost's health runs out. It's not that easy though, because the ghost is invisible and the flashlight can run out of battery. The Wii Remote users dress up as Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. It's really cool to see that they actually included Waluigi. I fully expected them to just use Toads or something, but no, Wario and Waluigi are kind of in a Luigi's Mansion game. The game does suffer from a similar problem as Mario Chase, where all of the levels just kind of feel the same, and the 5th and final one is pure garbage. Nintendo Land is this weird thing where it's a multiplayer minigame collection, but half of the minigames are primarily single player only. Yoshi's Fruit Cart is one of them. So what you have to do in this game is get fruit. Also, that's my grocery list. And to do this, you have to draw a line on the Wii U gamepad, which the Yoshi will follow. Sounds easy enough. I mean, you just have to draw the line over the fruit, right? Well, the fruit is only displayed on the TV, so you have to look back and forth between the TV and the gamepad and try to match it up. And sometimes there's obstacles that are also only on the TV. It's okay, it's fun, but there's just not a whole lot to it. And I know this is gonna sound really mean, but it honestly just kind of feels like a mobile game. I'm sorry. I never thought I'd have to apologize more than once while talking about Nintendo Land. I honestly like this one, but I've just never been good at it. I'm not even sure I've ever even beaten the first level. And there's only 4, with 3 and 4 just being more difficult versions of 1 and 2. Your Mii is brutally deformed into whatever this thing is, and you have to tilt the Wii U gamepad in order to navigate this maze inspired by the original Donkey Kong and math. Not Donkey Kong Jr. math though, don't get it confused. In addition to tilting the Wii U gamepad, you sometimes have to press the triggers and blow into the microphone Y. You'll die if you fall from too high or run into a wall. Just like real life. They don't really use the second screen of the gamepad all that well though. It's just what's shown on the TV but zoomed in. But don't let that get out to the masses. I'm confident that anarchy will ensue if people find out that the gamepad implementation in Donkey Kong's Crash Course is lame. It's safe to say that the Wii U wasn't doing too well at this point. It sold decently at launch, but most consoles do. I think. But it was essentially dead at this point. But what it really needed at this point was a big new 3D Mario game and a new Mario Kart. And it would get both pretty close together actually. But let's start with the Wii U's 3D Mario game. Because it came out first and I'm going in chronological order. And if you don't like that, I don't care. I think it's fairly obvious that people were hoping for something more along the lines of Super Mario 64, Sunshine, or Galaxy, not a sequel to Super Mario 3D Land. So yeah, we got a 3D Land sequel. Our darkest days are actually upon us. Super Mario 3D World follows the exact same format as Super Mario 3D Land, so it's basically a 2D Mario game played in 3D. There's power-ups and a set end to each level. This isn't what people wanted at the time. They wanted Super Mario Galaxy 2, Mario Sunshine 2, or Mario 65, because it had been just such a long time since the last more traditional 3D Mario game. Mario Galaxy 2 released in 2010. It's still crazy to me that there were 3 completely new 3D Mario games within the span of 2010 to 2013. Nowadays, it's been over 7 years since the last completely original one, and coming up on 4 years since Bowser's Fury. And I don't really count Bowser's Fury as a full game. It came as part of the 3D World port to Switch, and you can 100% complete it in just a few hours. Back to the actual topic, Super Mario 3D World. It's a great game, but the name is horrible. People are always getting it confused with Super Mario 3D Land and just Super Mario World. This was actually the very first game I played on the Wii U. It came pre-installed along with Nintendo Land. It's nice to always have on the console, but I would have definitely preferred a physical copy, obviously. I might still pick up a physical copy at some point. I mean, I have a physical copy of Nintendo Land, but that's mostly because I found it at a thrift store for $2. Okay, back to the game where Mario becomes my least favorite animal for real this time. It's my second favorite 3D Mario game, to be honest. You can tell they just designed it to be pure fun, nothing else. And all the levels are so varied, but it does lead to some weird things, like when you're playing in the desert world and one of the levels is just your generic grassland. It definitely makes it feel less authentic though. Like, I don't believe anybody lives here, these fairies are fake. But I don't think world building was their main priority here. I think their main priority was just to make fun Mario levels, and they succeeded at that. There's multiple characters to play as too, like you can play as Mario, he's boring. Luigi can jump higher, Peach can float, Toad runs fast, and Rosalina can do a spin jump. I just mostly play as Mario. I mean, I definitely prefer Luigi as a character, but I just like the way Mario controls better. There's actually some really neat boss variety. None of them are hard by any means, but they're all really unique. My favorite is King Kathunk because it's almost pathetic how easy he is. I genuinely kind of feel bad for him. There's also the Captain Toad levels where you get this, play as Captain Toad. He can't jump, so you have to navigate these puzzle cube level things without jumping. These weren't necessary to include by any means, but hey, more quality content is more quality content. There's also tons of collectibles in the game. Each level has 3 green stars and 1 stamp. The green stars are basically the star coins from the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and you could use the stamps to make posts on Miiverse, before Nintendo had to make the extremely hard choice to shut down Miiverse. I'm just assuming that was really hard for them. My only complaint with the collectibles is that in order to completely 100% the game, you have to play through every level with every character at least once. And after you beat every level with a certain character, you get another stamp of them. And after googling it, there's 82 courses. And after doing the math, you learn that you have to play through these levels 410 times. Oh, and also Cat Goomba weirds me out. Here we go, the best-selling Wii U game, Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 is actually a 2-time world champion for being the best-selling game on a Nintendo console. 8's port on the Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, is the best-selling game on that console by a wide margin. Over half of the Wii U owners had this game. I was not one of them until about 3 weeks ago. The main reason I never got it on the Wii U is because I played it once at a friend's house and hated it. I think the reason I hated it is because of this thing. So yeah, I had only played using tilt controls. Definitely a fair way to judge the game. I was originally planning on just using Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for this video, but after some reconsideration, I decided to drop $10 on the inferior Wii U game. There's just too many differences in my opinion, which is just my way of saying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is better. I mean, the battle modes are completely different. You heard that right, the mode I don't care about at all is way different, no way. And that's not to mention the handful of new characters 8 Deluxe added, like King Boo, Dry Bones, Bowser Jr., and that one thing from that one game. So is Mario Kart 8 worthy of being the best-selling Wii U game? I guess. The core racing is great actually, but there's just one tiny little thing that annoys me. Oh boy, I'm in first place. I really hope I get an item to defend myself. The coin item reappears again after it did for the first time in years in Mario Kart 7. It used to only ever appear on the tracks, but now in Mario Kart 8 it appears in item roulettes too. Why? Plenty show up on the actual track. I don't know why they decided to include it in the item roulette. Sure, you could argue that it makes things more strategic, but the only thing I'm going to be strategically doing is throwing my Wii remote at the wall. And sure, coins increase your max speed, but that doesn't help when a red shell's coming at me. This is a great segue into the items. The boomerang, which is a projectile that you can throw 3 times. It'll hit people when you throw it and when it's coming back. The piranha plant will attack anyone that comes too close. You can also just spam the button to use it as a speed boost, which is what I do most of the time. Yeah, you're better than me because you use the piranha plant strategically in Mario Kart 8. And easily the most iconic new addition is the super horn. It'll destroy literally any item coming at you, even a blue shell, but it doesn't destroy the blooper. Now if only I could get it instead of a coin for the 12 millionth time. And like I said earlier, the core racing is great. The character roster, on the other hand, it's not the worst thing ever. You've got your mainstays, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Toad, Wario, Waluigi, all those guys. But then a good chunk of the roster is just taken up by Koopalings and babies. So out of the 30 total characters in the base game, I'm not counting DLC because you can't buy that anymore. 7 are Koopalings, 5 are babies, and 2 are just lazy clones. Nearly half of the roster just feels like filler. But hey, at least Waluigi's here this time. The battle mode is atrocious. There's not a single original designed course for battle mode. It's all just repurposed racetracks. They're not altered at all. Moo Moo Meadows was not designed for war. To be completely honest, this doesn't bother me that much because I never play battle mode. The only Mario Kart game I ever really played battle mode in was Mario Kart Wii. And that's mostly because I just like the Delfino Pier course. Anyway, that's all I've really got to say about Mario Kart 8. There's no reason to return to it nowadays. Mario Kart 8 is literally this game, but with more content. It includes all of the DLC along with some new characters and more characters and courses via the Booster Course Pass. And they fixed the battle mode this time around, but I'm still not going to play it. Do you remember the Captain Toad levels from Super Mario 3D World? Well, they made an entire game out of them. I'm going to keep this review really brief because it's literally just more Captain Toad levels from 3D World. There is a plot though, but it basically just boils down to Bird takes Star and Toadette. Captain Toad must go beat Bird to save Star and Toadette. Then the same bird comes and takes Captain Toad. Now Toadette has to go save Captain Toad. And then the bird comes back and takes Toadette again. It just repeats. The game is good, but it's not necessarily my thing. I just prefer games with more fast-paced gameplay. And I'm also just not very good at it, so that doesn't help either. There's actually a version of this game for the Switch and for the 3DS for some reason. I don't have the 3DS one, but I do have the Switch one, at least digitally. That's because Walmart was accidentally selling the game and the DLC as just the DLC, so you thought you were just buying the DLC, but you got the full game. I definitely think the Switch version is superior because there's actually DLC, in case you missed it the 300 other times I said it. There is still a reason to play the Wii U version though. That's because there's several repurposed levels from Super Mario 3D World, while the Switch version has completely original levels based on Super Mario Odyssey. Just the Mario Odyssey ones, I don't know why they couldn't have both. So it turns the Switch version of the game into a Super Mario Odyssey prequel instead of a 3D World one. So Captain Toad Treasure Tracker causes some weird timeline split. So there's 2 alternate timelines now, one where Captain Toad is a prequel to 3D World, and one where it's a prequel to Super Mario Odyssey. I never thought Captain Toad could destroy an entire timeline. Captain Toad, tracker of treasure, destroyer of timelines. He's just so multi-talented. 10 Mario parties already? So quick disclaimer here. My copy of Mario Party 10 didn't work anymore, and I would have ordered a new one, but I just did not have enough time, unfortunately. eBay said it would make it in time, but I just don't believe them. So this review is going to have to rely almost solely on a hazy memory of the game. I kind of got Amiibo Party to work though, so let's start there. Amiibo Party is actually really similar to the older Mario Party games. You go around a board and get stars. That'd be cool if the boards weren't horrible. They're literally just reskins of the same thing essentially. A rectangle. In order to roll your dice, you have to use an amiibo, like Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. And after each turn there's a minigame. Okay, this is an Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. And that's where the game decided to give up. Amiibo Party sucks. It's just a lazy way to try to get people to want Amiibo. So basically like every other implementation of Amiibo. Next up, Bowser Party, the main selling point on the box. So whoever's using the gamepad plays as Bowser, and he has to reach everybody that's in the car. And whenever he does reach the people in the car, you have to play a Bowser minigame. The Bowser minigames are pretty similar to the 1v3 minigames. Basically, Bowser has to take out all 4 of the other players. And the other players have lives, so it's not completely over when you get hit. If the non-Bowser players make it to the end of the board, they win. But if Bowser depletes all of their hearts, guess what? He wins. It's an interesting side mode, but not enough to be the main selling point in my opinion. But hey, at least we got an official render of Bowser holding a Wii U gamepad. And the regular party mode is just like Mario Party 9, so people hated it. Not me though, I actually kinda like this style of Mario Party. Mario Party 9 is probably my favorite game in the series too, so... And I'll give Indie Cube some credit here. They tried something new after Mario Party being basically the same since its inception. But after the backlash Mario Party 9 got, they should have gone back to the original style for Mario Party 10. But at least things are back to normal now. Kinda starting with Super Mario Party, but especially with Mario Party Superstars. Wait a minute. Mario Party Superstars is full of old Mario Party minigames. So some Mario Party 10 minigames are in there too. I could use those for this video, I guess. There's 3. There's 3 minigames from Mario Party 10 and that's it. 3. Flash forward, be an influencer and become the center of attention. I didn't even know a tie was possible in this game. It's okay. Rapid River Race, don't hit the fish. There's better minigames in Mario Party 10. Skewer Scurry, you either hit people with the skewers or you don't get hit by the skewers. It's fine. It's all fine. Mario Party 10, more like Mario Party half of a 10 out of 10. It's just okay. Wait a second. If Mario Party Superstars has some minigames from Mario Party 10, then its precursor, Mario Party The Top 100, has to have some too, right? In fact, it does. But the only problem with that is that I don't have a way to really capture 3DS footage. So I'm just going to have to rely on the old method of setting up my phone on a tripod and recording the 3DS. I hope this isn't too bad. There's actually 4 minigames from Mario Party 10 here, but only 3 new ones because they decided to also bring Flash Forward to this game. It's not that good, guys, come on. Badminton Bash, it's even more basic than the game after the next game. I actually thought I was going to be in trouble for a second there. I didn't have this one unlocked, but thankfully whoever I bought this from on eBay 100% completed the game, so thanks random eBay seller. And hey, if I'm going to shout out who I bought Mario Party The Top 100 from, I might as well shout out who I bought Mario Party Superstars from, so thanks Walmart. More specifically on Halloween 2021. Didn't expect a Halloween name drop in a Christmas video, did you? You're never gonna guess what holiday I'll mention next. Who else is looking forward to National Vanilla Pudding Day? Jewel Drop. Oh boy, a generic puzzle game where I have to shake the 3DS for some reason. And I can't get that part to work. So I'm shaking the 3DS for no reason like a moron. Soar to Score. Just time your A button press so you land on the spot with the most points. It's okay. So is almost Mario Party 10 good? It just exists. I've lost sleep over the fact that the 10th Mario Party, which isn't even the 10th one, it's more like the 13th one, is just mediocre. I will get a new copy of Mario Party 10 at some point and do an actual video on it. Same with the other omissions in this video. Your time will come, Mario and Sonic at the 2014 Sochi Olympic Winter Games. Anyway, prequel to Super Mario Maker for Nintendo 3DS, anyone? This is the game that made me want a Wii U. I mean, I obviously kind of wanted it before, but this solidified it for me. Super Mario Maker, as the name suggests, is a Mario making game. You build your own levels and upload them online for other people to play, when the online servers weren't dead. You could play other people's levels too, obviously. You could also play the 100 Mario Challenge. This was basically just going through a set amount of levels with 100 lives to see if you can make it to the end. After each successful 100 Mario Challenge, you would unlock a new Mystery Mushroom costume. The costumes are basically just power-ups that would turn Mario into whatever character you picked. You could unlock some of them by using different amiibo. Speaking of amiibo, this game actually kind of had an amiibo set. It only consisted of 2 and they were basically the same thing but with different colors. A fully 3D incarnation of 8-bit Mario, in both classic and modern colors. I like that they basically used the exact same model of the modern colors one to make this costume in Super Mario Odyssey. I mean, it's nearly identical, jump pose and all. You could only use the mystery mushrooms in the original Super Mario Bros. Style, which is definitely a great incentive to make levels with it. Since it's the most limited, people would rather just make levels with the other 3. But you can't play as volleyball player in Super Mario Bros. 3, that would be ridiculous. This game sold extremely well considering what console it was on, just around 4 million copies. Hypothetically, if the Wii U sold as well as the Switch did and this game sold just as well in comparison, it would have sold over 40 million copies. It wouldn't have overtaken Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but still. And Super Mario Maker actually did get a sequel for the Switch in 2019, Super Mario Maker 2, but it just did not take off as well as I thought it would. It sold better, yes, almost double actually, but considering how much more popular the Switch is than the Wii U, I would have expected it to sell way better. The original was a phenomenon on the internet for a while. Pretty much every large gaming channel on YouTube was playing it. Super Mario Maker 2 on the other hand, not so much. I definitely think it has to do with the novelty not really being there anymore. The original was so cool and a dream come true for many people. The sequel also just has less personality in my opinion, and I think there's a lot of charm in the simplicity of the original game. It was cool seeing what people would come up with considering how limited the options really were. I still definitely prefer Mario Maker 2, but the way I put it is that Mario Maker 1 is a better Mario Maker, while Mario Maker 2 is a better Mario Maker, if you know what I mean. So if we ever do get Super Mario Maker 3, I hope they bring that charm back. And bring back the mystery mushrooms. Let me play as Dr. Lobe, you cowards. So, funny story. I had to buy this game twice. Why? I bought the first copy when I was in the middle of moving for some reason, so the Wii U was in a box and I had no way to test it. The move takes longer than I thought, and by the time I have the opportunity to actually test it, the warranty has expired. And just my luck, the game doesn't work. So now what do? Do I remove it from the video? Do I lie and say I've played it anyway? Or I've got 2 copies of this game. Sure, one doesn't work, but I've still got 2 copies of this game. Getting the second copy wasn't exactly smooth sailing either. Sure, all I had to do was go on eBay and embarrassingly type in Mario Tennis Ultra Smash Wii U into the search bar and buy another copy, but that's not where this tragedy ends. It came the day after it was supposed to arrive. I mean, I was already nervous that I wasn't going to be able to get this video out on time. Just what I need, a day delay. And then the day it did arrive, the mailman accidentally drove past the mailbox without putting it in there. So I was freaking out thinking it got lost or something, but then he turned around and put it in the mailbox. I'm still going to keep the unworking one because I think it's kind of funny to own 2 copies of a bad game. To make sure I don't get them mixed up, I labeled the broken one accordingly. Rant over. So Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. And let me preface this by saying I already don't like Mario Tennis that much. Mario Power Tennis, which is widely considered to be the best one from what I've seen, is just whatever to me. So I might be harsher than I need to be. I'll give the series some credit though. It introduced Waluigi. Maybe the fact that my original copy didn't work was a warning. Mario Tennis Ultra Smash is not good. I mean, it's not terrible, it's not the worst thing I've ever played in my life. I think Super Mario Bros. The Lost Level still holds that title. There's only 4 modes and all of them are lacking. There's actually 6 if you count the in-game shop and the unworking online. There's 4 modes. And since there's only 4 modes plus a shop, I might as well talk about all of them. This is the main gimmick mode of the game, as I would call it. It's just your standard tennis until the Toad decides to throw the Mario equivalent of that Baskin-Robbins Oreo chocolate milkshake with like 2,000 calories onto the court. I about had a stroke just thinking about that thing. How is this legal? Every few minutes, one side will get a mega mushroom, and whoever gets the mushroom obviously has an advantage. But then the other side will get a mega mushroom, and now it's even. Who cares? It's literally just Mario Tennis, but with Big Donkey Kong now. And the fact that this is the best that they could come up with for the main gimmick, the main selling point on the box, is kind of sad. Remember that ping pong rally minigame from Wii Play? Well, this is that, but more fleshed out. Barely. You and your opponent have to keep this mega ball in a rally. It's almost like it's called Mega Ball Rally for a reason. The ball doesn't stay big though, it'll gradually shrink over time. Just like my brain while watching Instagram Reels. Back to tennis, unfortunately. The ball gets smaller and smaller each rally. In an attempt to make it more difficult, I got 100 on my first try. It's weird because when you cause the rally to end by hitting the ball where the other player can't hit it, your character plays their victory animation. This mode was so lazily thrown together that they didn't even bother to change the animations. Like, why would I be happy? I just messed the rally up. Shouldn't they both play their losing animations or something? Knockout Challenge is literally just an endurance test. How many rounds of Mega Battle can you suffer through? You can play with an amiibo in a way very similar to Super Smash Bros. You basically just train it to play just like you. So poorly. And Devastated doesn't even begin to describe how I felt when I learned I couldn't use my Minecraft Alex amiibo in this game. You can only use certain Super Mario amiibo. Any amiibo released after this game won't work. So even though Boo and Waluigi are playable in the game, their amiibo don't work because they were released about a year later. It's disappointing, I guess, but I wouldn't expect them to go back and update this bad tennis game. But if there's a reason to complain, I'll do it. I decided to go with the Yoshi amiibo because it was the only one brave enough to look at me. Knockout Challenge is just multiple rounds of Mega Battle in a row, but with a CPU who just so happens to be trapped in a $13 piece of plastic. Classic Tennis is just tennis, no Mega Mushroom involved. There's actually 2 sub-modes for Classic Tennis. This is called Depth, people. Standard Tennis and Simple Tennis. Standard Tennis has jump shots and chance shots. And Simple Tennis sure isn't lying. You can buy stuff here. I don't really care enough to give any more details. It's a shop for in-game garbage. I don't recommend Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, and I definitely don't recommend getting it twice. Like a concussion. Minecraft. What's there left to be said at this point? It's the best-selling game of all time and has been ported to nearly every video game console. Even my favorite, China. But it actually took a while for Minecraft to make it to a Nintendo console. Although I think that has something to do with the fact that the ones around at the start of Minecraft's popularity weren't exactly able to run it. So it kind of makes sense as to why they waited until the Wii U to make a Nintendo version of the game. But why they waited until the Wii U was starting to lay in its deathbed to release this, I have no idea. December 7th, 2015. Not only was the Wii U on its way out, but Minecraft wasn't really seen as the cool game anymore. I mean, it was still popular, yes, but if you were caught playing it, you were a loser. Along with the Wii U version came the Super Mario Mashup Pack for completely free. It included a Mario skin pack, texture pack, music from Mario 64, and this map full of Mario stuff. The skin pack includes tons of characters, even really obscure ones like Mario. The texture pack replaces all the Minecraft textures with more Mario-y ones. So this grass is now Mario grass. The Mario 64 music sure is Mario 64 music. I usually just turn it off. If I have to hear the Boo Carousel theme one more time, I'm going to go insane. And the map is really neat. The developers of this version built the entire thing. There's Peach's Castle, Bowser's Airship, that stone Bowser thing in the water from Super Mario World that actually leads to Bowser's Castle like in that game. Not to mention all of the statues and pixel art that's scattered all over the place. Since it's Minecraft, there isn't really much of an objective. In this map, you can go collect all of the music discs, but they're just the same old Minecraft music. It would have been really cool if they changed it to more Mario music. They obviously don't update the Wii U version anymore, but that doesn't mean they don't update the Mario Mashup Pack anymore. Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch has the Mario Mashup Pack, and it does still get updated. It's only the textures though, so no new skins or music unfortunately. And I'm really disappointed about no new music. The Boo Carousel is making me lose it. This was the final Mario game on the Wii U, and what a way to go out. Look, I'll be honest, I do genuinely like this game. It was a sequel to the very unpopular Paper Mario Sticker Star, a game that was panned by fans. So this game had a lot to fix, and I'd definitely say it's the better game, although that isn't saying very much. It fixed a lot of the minor issues I had with Sticker Star, but the bigger ones are still there. It still has consumable attacks, a level-based structure, painfully generic character designs, and no experience points. But I do still like this game. Visually, it is phenomenal. There's a reason they basically reused the exact same style for the next game, Paper Mario the Origami King. The game is really well written too, and it's genuinely funny at times. I mean, Mario gets called a war criminal. You have to go across this island and collect big paint stars. And you need them to stop Bowser, because of course Bowser's the main villain. So the game isn't amazing, but I do still think it's pretty good. I think Sticker Star could have been good if the world was interesting to explore. Every location in that game is boring, except for the Enigma Mansion. I would never insult the Enigma Mansion. Who do you think I am? But the reason that level sticks out so much is because it's the only one that's really interesting. And that one with the disturbing toad paintings. But this is about Color Splash, not Sticker Star. The bosses are probably the weakest part of the game in my opinion. They're just the Koopalings. Oh yeah, because they were really lacking in appearances in the mid-2010s. But the fact that they're just Morton and those other guys isn't my only problem with them. No, each boss requires a specific thing card. Things are basically if you stuck real-life objects into the game. You know, like scissors, a piggy bank, a piece of a corpse, stuff like that. They only exist as really powerful attacks that make you go, ha ha ha, that's really funny, it's like a real world thing in the game. During the Morton fight, you need the fire extinguisher thing, and that's because he's dumb and sets his hammer on fire. And you can't beat him without it. Sticker Star did a similar thing, but it was only suggested. Sure, the Mega Sparkle Goomba fight would have been easier if you had the scissors, but you don't have to have them. But in Color Splash, I need the ice pick to kill Lemmy.
You aren't doing it right.
Ho ho ho!
We've got to kick it back and forth like this.
Ho ho ho!
Take this, you stupid Wii U game.
Ho ho ho!
And sure, coins increase your max speed, but that doesn't help when a red shell's coming at me.
It's okay, we forgive you.
Ho ho ho!
You know what? I've actually grown quite fond of this little place. I think I'll turn it into my second base of operations. Call it the West Pole. The W in West stands for Wii U. If you'd like, you can stay and help us clean up. Here, let me fix you up. The red should start to fade. I've fought my fair share of failed video game console souls, and they all ended up with the redness. But they all eventually went back to not red, except the Virtual Boy.
Ho ho ho!
I think it turned out really nice. You're free to stay here if you'd like, Wii U.
Ho ho ho!